Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to a woman who dressed up as a man to prove that male privilege exists, but she instantly regretted it. Now, I think, this is a really interesting experiment here because, there are a lot of people probably who think that men just have, life easier, like they just have an easier go of things. And, I suppose whatever side you're on, whether you're, a man or a woman, like sometimes, there's people out there who just think the grass is always greener on the other side. They think the opposite side, the other side always has things a bit better than you. And because, your perspective on life is often colored by, your situation, like it's really hard to change someone's mind unless you can, make yourself appear like as the other side and actually see what it's like. So it's going to be really, really interesting just to see why she, instantly regretted it. What experiences did she have that, kind of changed her mind and her view on male privilege? Because I'm not going to say whether it exists or if it doesn't exist. But, it's always fun to see other people's views on this.
So this comedian thought the only reason why people aren't laughing at her jokes is because she is a woman.
Really?
So she wore a costume and pretended to be a man. Let's see how her performance went.
Oh, the self-awareness.
You don't know what they're doing in these labs.
But she doesn't, come on. It's not a convincing disguise.
Very loose guidelines. This lady wants me.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I just shouldn't be a comic.
No, listen. I'm telling
I can't do it as a man, I can't do it as a woman.
you were great.
What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Curly Things YouTube channel and welcome to my reaction series. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and get yourself a Women Shouldn't Vote t-shirt. Today, I am going to be reacting to These Women Become Men to prove male privilege, and they instantly regretted it. All right, let's see what's going on.
Man or woman, who has a harder life?
Woman.
Women have a harder life?
Yeah. Woman. Yep. Woman.
Why?
Because we have to deal with inequality for
I want the river thing, like the world's smallest violin.
a long time and currently do so as well.
What do men have that women don't?
Basic human rights.
Which right do?
For instance,
payments.
And you guys have free, I'm not going to say what it is, but we don't have the same access, for instance, to birth control.
Men don't even have birth control.
Birth control?
No, Viagra. For instance, your plan,
Oh, God. What are you talking about?
Plan covers that, and my medical plan doesn't cover birth control.
A woman who disguised herself as a man to find out how it is to live as a man committed due to the psychological scars of how difficult life was.
She committed? Damn.
Nora Vincent, the author of Self-Made Man, has died by assistance. She was a radical feminist who believed men lived on easy mode and tried to prove it by disguising herself as a man for 2 years. Instead, what she found out is that men actually have it very hard and wrote a book about her experience. In fact, the experience was so bad that she had to stop after 18 months because she was starting to hate women due to how bad the women treated her when she believed she was a man.
Men are suffering. They have different problems than women have, but they don't have it better. They need our sympathy, they need our love. And they need each other more than anything else. They need to be together.
Do you think women understand what it's like to be a man?
Not at all. No clue. No idea.
Did you like being a woman before, Ned?
I did, but I like it more now because I think it's more of a privilege.
Being a man is much...
Yeah, it's really true.
Wow. What more do you need to say? I'm sure there's going to be people out there who say, maybe she just had a particularly bad experience. If I was to do what she did, like dress up as a man, maybe my experience wouldn't be so bad. But, I'm not saying that women have it easier than men or men have it easier than women, but we both have it hard, Life isn't, unless you're born into a really rich family and etc. Everybody has their own challenges and stuff,
So funny because the women will say that I hate women because I point out the realities of how privileged of lives we have. They hate me for it. I mean, I think I get more hate than really. I get hate from the left and the right. And you know what's interesting? I was talking to this old red pillar. I don't want to say his name, but it was like a guy that was like, he's kind of like OG red pill. Like he was really big in the early 2000s. We were trying to get him to come on the show. And he ended up having to kind of go out of the limelight because it affected his business. And he told me that it was actually other men that ruined like what he was doing. It was other men that would cancel his events or would like be a problem for him. Men that are controlled by women, I just call women. They basically have the spirit of women in them. Because, and it's interesting because sometimes you're like I'll tell a story about a man getting divorced and the men will say that it's his fault. What are the guys supposed to do if the woman wants to leave? You can't do anything.
Than a woman would ever expect. We face rejection, indifference, and unwarranted hostility far more than any woman could even imagine. I can believe that the interview in her book was more impactful with men than with women. Men responded favorably to her showing cause and effect about gender beliefs and behaviors and were receptive to her conclusions on the emotional level because of a common ground of evidentiary findings and logic-based thinking. Women, being more emotion-led, were more likely to discard evidence and logic and stick to their feelings, no matter whether the feelings proved justified or unjustified based on the evidence that
women are more emotional
were lived through and logically presented to them. The lessons she learned broke her as both a woman and a person, and is a testament to how much of women's empowerment is actually leading to women's self-destruction.
Well, and it is because we say that we're the same as men. We do not interpret information the same way men do. And really, women get on me, but I'm just honest. And maybe some of my opinions sound out there to you, but I don't think women have the same mental capabilities that men do. Obviously, there are exceptions. The same way there are exceptional children that are prodigies and are smarter than a lot of adults. When it comes to women in general, we're not smarter than men. We're not more logical than men. And I think our buying decisions prove that. I mean, how many...
I will say that, I've got a lot of women in my family for sure. And from my experience, they definitely are more emotional. Like, in terms of their response to things happening, how they view people. Like, it's often not based on... what the person has done. It's more on how that person makes them feel. Just my personal experience.
Logical things do we vote into existence? Like, for example, our student debt. How many of us signed up for useless degrees that we didn't need? Another example is abortions. 1 out of 3 women have had an abortion. 1 out of 3.
What's wrong? What is it?
How I love being a woman.
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. I had closer friendships with random women I met in the bathroom before I transitioned at clubs because
I see. He used to be a woman.
Open women are than I've had in my 8 years of transitioning.
Oh my
and then you
God.
transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build.
She's basically dipping a toe in the pool and crying because it's too cold, while natural born men are either just outright drowning or just trying to keep their head above water just a little longer. It's actually not hard for men to make friends. It's a lot harder to get respect as men. And if you are an emotional transition man, you definitely won't make a lot of friends because our brains are wired differently and the experiences that we have as men are way different. Someone transitioning didn't grow up with the same diversity and struggle.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, maybe it's my personal experience. I don't think it's that hard to make friends. I do think you just need to put yourself out there. Like, if you have a hobby, just find, these days, there's groups for everything. Find a group. If you don't have a hobby, find go to a CrossFit gym. Like, they're really community based. There's even apps, like here in England, there's an app called Bumble BFF where you can literally make friends by swiping and stuff. I think, if you really put yourself out there, I don't think it's that hard to make friends. But then again, that's just my personal experience.
as men. Also, now that you've cried publicly about your problems as a man, you are now seen as a weak man and have lost attraction from women, lost respect from other men.
And that's the hard thing about being a guy, is men are just confused because they're told one thing by society and how to treat women and what women want. They're told that women want emotionally available men, but it's just not true. Women want somebody strong that they can look up to. They don't want, guys crying on TikTok.
Successfully amplified your isolation.
Barney Mac, nice to meet you.
What is it?
I have a Comedy Central, a half-hour special, and I'm also the voice of Lenny on the Cartoon Network, Joy Cab.
All right, well, let me write all this down.
Okay. Thanks, bro. Can I get some change for that?
Do what you do. Quit picking pussy.
This is honestly the worst disguise I've ever seen. Come on.
So this comedian thought the only reason why people aren't laughing at her jokes is because she is a woman. So she wore a costume and pretended to be a man. Let's see how her performance went.
Terrible disguise.
I love animals. I would never buy any product that had been tested on animals. Never, because I like to do that myself at home. Make sure the control group is isolated.
Oh, God.
You don't know what they're doing in these labs.
Oh, my God.
Very loose guidelines.
Oh, God. Ah. It's terrible.
This lady wants me. I can totally tell. I know I'm weird. I'm a weird dude.
The self-awareness.
Brother, this guy stinks!
I used to always carry a man purse, a merce.
Oh,
You ever carry one of those?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
A merce. I loved it. I loved that merce. But
Did she work on this bit, or is she just like freestyling right now?
losing it. I'd lose it everywhere. I was always leaving my merce around. I kept losing my merce. So I just started carrying everything, my person, my pants. I only lost my pants a couple of times. So that's really working out. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
Oh, God. That was terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Was that a real comedy set, or was this all? Is this all just part of like the video?
It was good. Didn't you see me laughing?
I know.
No, this has to be.
I felt like you were laughing at me.
Has to be
I wasn't
fake.
laughing at you.
Has to be fake.
He really was. This is simping. Now, what is simping? I throw this term around a lot, so I think I should give you guys a definition. Simping is when men put women's emotions above their logic. Men naturally are more logical than women. Men naturally know what is true. And when they bend the truth for women, I call that simping. So right there, he's bending the truth for women's feelings.
At your jokes and how you had that was good. I'm telling you, that was good. No, that was good. Don't be.
Don't
upset.
lie to her. You're setting her up for more failure down the road. Like, don't lie, dude.
I just didn't be a comic.
No, listen. I'm telling you.
I can't do it as a man. I can't do it as a woman.
You were great. You're great as a woman. You're better as a woman.
Somebody's gonna come out here and see like some dude fucking crying his eyes out.
No, I'm telling you. You were great. Listen to me. I'm serious.
Dude, stop.
Like I was good.
I don't even care about this stupid documentary.
I'm telling you.
She was so deluded into.
And women have no idea how much better the world treats us because we're a woman. Imagine if that was the guy crying because he bombed. You would not get that level of sympathy.
He'd be laughed at, man. He'd be laughed at. Oh my God.
Thinking nobody laughed because she's a woman. Came to find out she's just not funny after. The next step is to accept that reality and do the only thing she can do. And that is to improve her performance.
Right.
One of the comments says, it's always hard when someone realizes they aren't a victim and that their failure is their own. Everyone has an excuse and someone to blame for their failure these days. The sad fact is most people live in that kind of denial. The fact that she somehow genuinely felt that her male disguise is realistic enough to convince the entire crowd is really the actual joke here. Her crying at the end just goes to show that it's not about anything to do with social justice.
And that's why I say the simping, it doesn't help us. It really doesn't. It's comforting, but when we don't know what reality is, we can't improve. And the problem is we're told we're princesses from the time we're 5 years old.
Quality. It's for their own personal validation.
They did an experiment with a group of women, and they put scars on their faces, and they told these women that they're going into a job interview, and the purpose of the experiment is to find out whether people with facial disfigurements face discrimination. They showed them the scars in the mirror. The women saw themselves with these scars, and as they led them out of the room, they said, we're just going to touch it up a little bit. And as they touched it up, they removed the scarring completely. So the women went into the job interview thinking that they are scarred, but actually being their normal self. And the result of the experiment is that those women then came back reporting massively increased level of discrimination. Indeed, many of them...
Thinking you're a victim is a disease. It's literally a disease. Even guys, I mean, you guys know what happened last year here. That was so crazy. It was so crazy. Like, victim mentality, it'll convince you that the world is against you, and a lot of times it's not. Usually people are willing to help you.
Back with comments that the interviewer had made that they felt were referencing their facial disfigurement.
I wonder if they did that with men, if it would be the same. I don't think so.
This is why I think this ideology of victimhood is so dangerous, because if you preach
the serpent whispered to Eve, not Adam,
to people constantly that we're all oppressed, then that primes people to look for that.
Yeah, and I think women really in general have no idea how hard men's lives are. Women, we have it way easier. We get free drinks at the bar. We get preferential job treatment. I've even heard that we get preferential treatment in schools. All of these things favor women. All of society favors women. And there are so many women that could not live life as a man. We could not, because a lot of us have not faced reality from the time we were a kid. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like the video on your way out.
Very super interesting video. I'm just reading some of the comments. I'm a woman truck driver, and I've been to warehouses and have been told that they wouldn't have helped me if I was a guy. They treat us way better than each other. I mean, this is just, another comment here. As a former male nurse working in a female-dominated environment, it was the most toxic job I ever had. I had an automotive industry trade under my belt lasting 15 years prior. However, the toxicity and drama of nursing was unsurpassed. Oh my God, there's more, but I won't read it. But mate, oh my God. I mean, this isn't about, who's better. Like, it's just about, like, both sexes have their own challenges for sure. If there genuinely are, women out there who believe men's lives are just super easy, I'm telling you, they're not. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.